All right, guys. Our next bit of movie news today is something that it just comes as like a nice, light, warm-hearted surprise. It's something that we've been wanting for a while, and now it's official. You guys, we're getting a Paddington 3 movie.
Breath of fresh air.
Breath of fresh air indeed. Now, for anyone who hasn't seen the original Paddington films, Paddington 1 and 2, they're not revolutionary movies. Do you remember when Downton Abbey came out and everyone was just like raving about Downton Abbey? And then we started watching Downton Abbey, and the first couple episodes were like, well, yeah, this is good. It's not like it doesn't reinvent the wheel. It's just a really well told story, and it's beautiful, and there's nothing cynical about it. And like, that's Paddington. Paddington 1, Paddington 2, Paddington goes off on his adventures, and he just, like, he has something interesting to say about like standing up against like the big dogs or whatever, against I guess, like, I don't know, again, I'm lost for words, but it's
The
just,
Paddington Man. We'll just call it the Paddington Man. Paddington.
yeah, stand up against the Paddington man, Yeah, like,
Yeah.
push against the system a little bit. Like, let's question things, but like I said, in a non-cynical, just heartwarming, charming kind of way. So, I mean, like, we've all been wanting a third Paddington movie, and now it's official. It's been greenlit. Like, they're working on the film now. In this particular article, I know as I garble my words. Let's see, let's jump down here. Paddington 3, a new entry in the beloved movie series, is in active development, representatives from Studio Canal told Variety. We can confirm Studio Canal is working very hard on the third film with the utmost craft and care, as with films 1 and 2. I mean, like, there's just, this is not revolutionary news. This is not reinventing the wheel. This is just a really sweet, charming, heartwarming series of films, and I'm just very much looking forward to the third one. I've never met a person
Yeah.
who has had a negative thing to say about these movies. Natalie?
I think, yeah, well, I mean, I have not seen one and two, and I was kind of refreshed by the story. But what always surprised me is it's one of those movies that I feel like was going to either be, kind of, it's a thing with movies that are geared towards children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And,
On the
we
surface, yeah,
obviously
on the
saw
surface.
exactly on the surface, and it's interesting to see how filmmaking has evolved over the last 20 years to make movies for children, not just for children. Like, they actually get a chance to tell an important, impactful story to adults as well, and in a way that children can really kind of conceive and understand. And I think that's it's interesting that Paddington, like, their Rotten Tomato score is like over 85%. Like, these are really well made, well received movies, and yeah, I'm kind of excited about the the way that the storytelling possibility that you have with another one, especially with
Yeah,
everything
and I
going
think
on.
like that's one of the charming things about these films, like the first one and the second one, is that here's this very unassuming bear. Um, like, yes, they recognize that it's a walking, talking bear, but also that's not the focus of the story. The focus of the story is here's this waddling little bear that just walks around London, and he finds himself in these kind of silly, ridiculous scenarios. But out of these ridiculous, silly scenarios, real change and real commentary comes from it. And we get to learn these life lessons. Like, as you say, like, on the surface, these are seemingly children's movies. And yeah, to a certain extent they are. But I would argue in the same way that Toy Story are those are
Yeah,
children's movies. Like Pixar in general,
yeah,
children's movies. Yeah, they're geared towards like a family based audience, but there's something grander and bigger that it's actually saying, a point that it's making. And I like that, after the second movie, because the second movie came out in what, 2000, somebody correct me, 2017, I want to say. So it's been, what, 4 years since we've had a Paddington film, or maybe at least 3 years, depending on when it came out.
Time has no meaning, so it's fine.
know,
It's fine.
We're living in the Twilight Zone.
Yes.
Twilight Zone Quarantine Edition. But yeah, I mean, to see that they waited until, at least this is my perception. This is what I think. They didn't crank out a third movie because of the success of Paddington 1 and 2. They cranked out a third movie because they had something to say, because they had an interesting idea and possibly a fun and interesting story to tell, something that's provocative.
Yeah, I didn't actually know this about, like, let's get into the Paddington verse, the Paddington myth of the creation of Paddington. I didn't know this, but I mean, was very much a part of the Paddington author's original intent. In a way, Paddington was inspired by his view of Jewish refugee children coming into London. I think the story was like he was at a train station and he saw these children and they had cards tied to them that kind of told people who they like, their name and anything about them, but they're basically refugees. And you think about it, Paddington is a refugee coming from dark Peru, like, and with everything that's going on in England right now, because I do want to say that the filmmakers are still structuring it, I think, towards particularly recent British developments in the treatment of refugees and things like that. I think that there's some interesting potential there for some really
like you say, there's just so, and I didn't even realize that. I didn't know that there was that same type of social commentary behind it, and even that in and of itself evokes a lot of visual storytelling, but also like the importance of like comparing it to the X-Men in the Marvel universe. Like X-Men were created as a response to the Civil War, to the civil rights issues going on in the 1960s, and now has taken on a completely different allegory in and of itself, which is to say social acceptance for gay rights and the LGBTQ community, and just saying like everyone has worth, just because they may not look or sound or act in a way that you want them to. Like we're all the same. We're all equal. There's all something beautiful and intrinsically valuable about who we are as human beings. And to hear that same type of allegory played through, or like a tangential allegory told through the eyes of Paddington, I think is a completely beautiful thing.
Definitely.
Question for you guys is what do you think of a Paddington 3 movie coming? Are you excited for it? Is it something that you're just not interested at all in? I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are. Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know those thoughts. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share, because that is exactly what the mighty Thor would want you to do. For Asgard!